Hello, good afternoon, Trina.
Good afternoon, Miss Bailey. I couldn't wait to say that. I saw you in the group yesterday. I was like,
It's so good to see you.
likewise. I see Mr. Bailey. Oh, what y'all having, a Bailey affair? Brittany Bailey? Okay, I missed the Bailey family reunion. Carlos and I was like,
right. Yeah, this is all the Baileys. We got Christopher Bailey, Brittany Bailey, Carrie Bailey.
Their cousins. That's okay.
Oh, okay. It's a family reunion up in here. That's what I'm talking about.
Yes, indeed. So I see Ms. Livingston is not for this workshop. All right. So, Mr. Christian, would you like for me to read your entire bio? Is that okay?
Yeah, that's fine. That's fine.
Well, I see we have some. So what I will do is go ahead. It's 12:15. I'll start and give it about one more minute because I know they are allowing people to come into breakout rooms now. And then as we go, we'll be able to rock and roll. All right, good afternoon, everyone. Today we have with us Mr. Carlos Christian. At age 13, Carlos Christian became involved in the drug trade, eventually leading to a 10-year prison sentence. He was incarcerated at the Marion Correctional Institution in Marion, Ohio from age 19 to 29. During his sentence, Mr. Christian dedicated himself to his rehabilitation and becoming a positive role model. He graduated from Marion Technical College, majoring in business management with a 3.83 GPA. In addition, he successfully completed an administrative office technology vocational program upon his release. Mr. Christian had support from his friends, family, and a case manager. After he obtained employment, Mr. Christian relocated from Cleveland to Columbus, where he became a homeowner, gained custody of his son, and began to mentor currently incarcerated individuals in penitentiaries and county jails. During Mr. Christian's prison sentence, he realized that he had more examples of individuals being released from prison and returning than he had examples of individuals being released from prison and going on to lead positive lives in the community. Mr. Christian co-founded the Starts Within organization in 2011 because of his determination to help currently incarcerated men build the same solid foundation pre and post-release that he was able to build. In 2015, Mr. Christian released the book Prison Without Bars to help further the mission of the Stars Within organization. He followed that up with the walking logo, Taking Back My Life Volume 2 in 2017. SWO is based on the principle that individuals must start within themselves and start within their current situations. The organization takes a holistic approach to reentry, providing programming for incarcerated men, their significant others, and their children. SWO is a nonprofit organization that combats the alarming recidivism rate that hinders the growth of communities across the nation. By strategically placing these men in career fields related to their skills and knowledge, SWO is working towards the goal of becoming the model reentry organization in the nation. Mr. Christian began his work with the Action for Children in 2010 as a facilitator for TAP, Father Factor, using the Father Factor curriculum. He has helped nearly 3,000 fathers across Central Ohio. TAP Father Factor is about building better parent-child relationship and opening doors to positive communication between co-parents. As a father himself, Mr. Christian knows how impactful fatherhood can be. He understands how a father's role within a family can positively or negatively affect children's social and emotional development. Mr. Christian currently strives for excellence when working with fathers because he knows that by bettering families, we are bettering the community as a whole. Without further ado, I present to you Mr. Christian. Thank you.
Appreciate you. Thank you, Trina. I thank you for the bio and reading it just so effortlessly. It was a beautiful thing, man. It got me excited. It's always a pleasure and it's an honor to be in the building with the National Associations of Blacks in Criminal Justice. I count it a blessing. It is my pleasure to always be able to present. Now, I don't know if Hazel was just gassing me up, but she said, Carlos, man, we don't have that many workshops and we want you to be one of the workshops. And I said, man, okay, no doubt, man, so I done been able to earn a place, man, in this great organization, and I appreciate everybody who is in attendance and just wanting to hear, what we've been able to get done, especially coming up out of this pandemic, how we've been able to counter the pandemic so we can still get the work done. Something that wasn't said inside of the bio is one of the mottos that we've been pushing, and that's turn the penitentiary on its head, stand the community on its feet. And I'm telling people, man, that we're going to defy the odds. We're going to defy the odds until the odds are in our favor. And it's something about that, just all in itself. And the reason why I say defy the odds until the odds are in our favor, because, I've been home for 14 years after serving a 10-year prison sentence and being home for 14 years. It's like, man, and now my son, who's 24 years old, he was actually 3 months old when I had gotten incarcerated to my 10-year prison sentence, and he was 10 when I got released. And now he's 24 years old, and my son, he's currently married. He has, 3 children. So I'm also a grandfather. I wasn't that in my last presentation, so I'm also a grandfather as well. But the reason why I say, man, we defy the odds until odds are in our favor is because now my son, he's not getting incarcerated, and the likelihood of children who has an incarcerated parent to get incarcerated themselves is great. So my son, I defy the odds by not getting reincarcerated. My son is defying the odds by not getting incarcerated. But now my grandchildren, the odds are actually in their favor. And the reason being is because my grandchildren has both parents in the household structure. My 12-year-old son and my 5-year-old daughter, the odds are in their favor because they are growing up in a well-structured household that can get them into the place that they need to be. Just develop strong adults. That's how we get it done. So with what we've been able to do during the pandemic, and I just want to really cover what we've been able to accomplish during the pandemic, just to combat, what's going on, because there's been a lack of programming because of people not being able to access the facilities. So we said that, we got to think of something to get inside of the facilities and help people to still get the information, because regardless of people, man, in the pandemic or not, people were still getting released from the facilities. So we had to think outside of the box, and we had to get creative to form something different. So it was a lot of deaths that happened in the pandemic, right? But it was also a lot of births. And the births that happened in the pandemic was just new ideas that we are going to be able to take on into our future and also open more doors touch more lives, and get the mission accomplished, which is turn the penitentiary on its head and stand the community on its feet in the realest of ways, just by attacking that mentality that continues to get people incarcerated. We got to look at, man, what is going on here. And this is the greatest injustice. I always say the greatest injustice is people not understanding what it takes to be able to function in society. And the information is out there, but the information isn't accessible to the people who don't know. So you have people in these neighborhoods, in these environments who don't have access in their heads to the information that they need to be able to function in society. And because they don't have that access, they develop these philosophies that get them incarcerated. And this is why we're looking at the violence that's going on in our communities. We dying out here, right? We are dying because we continue to develop a philosophy based on this culture that helps us develop this philosophy that we have just embraced. That culture of saying, man, I'm gonna sell drugs and I'm going to go ahead and shoot my guns and this is how I'm going to live life. Because that's the same philosophy that I developed when I was 13, when I was in that environment. And I said, man, you know what? This is what everybody else is doing. You know, now it was people who were doing different things, but all I seen was the people who were doing what I chose to do from 13 to 19 years old. So that's why our main objective is to make sure that we get the information to the people who need it the most because they don't have the access to it. Now, one of the things that we understand is that the people inside of these environments, inside of the prisons, inside of these neighborhoods, they're not going to receive the information from anybody because people don't take medicine from strangers. If they feel like you don't relate to who they are, then they are going to reject the medicine. Just as if we look at the pandemic and you think about people saying, I'm not taking that shot because they feel like that the people who are administering the shots, they feel like that they don't have their best interest at heart. Now, these shots for the coronavirus, it can be something that can really help them health-wise, but you have a whole sector of people that's saying, I don't want it because I don't trust who it's coming from. So then that's why it is so important that we have to put people in place that is trustworthy of the people who we are trying to reach. And that's why the Starts Within organization has been so impactful in reaching the people, because when I come in and I give them the information, they look at me and they can see who I am and they identify with that. So then they trust that I have their best interest at heart. So now they are willing to accept the information that we know that they need. So then they can develop a philosophy so they will never get incarcerated ever again. So then they can develop a philosophy so then they will not be buried at 21 years old, at 25 years old. So then they can live long lives and they can be assets to their communities, assets to their families. They receive that information because they trust where it's coming from. And that's the game changer, right? So then that's how we had to continue to just push that objective and getting that done, just to accomplish that and say, man, how do we get it done? How do we get it done when we cannot get inside of the facility? So I said, man, you know what? Okay, I got the documentary, the 2-hour-long documentary, the Walking Logo documentary, where it just drilled the messaging that needed to be drilled. I got connected with all of the 3 regional directors inside of Ohio, and they spread it in all of the prisons inside of Ohio to where we started to take over the airwaves. Now, this is what's exciting, because now when they go into the day room or they just at their bed area and they turn on the TV and they say, man, you know what? What's on TV? You see my face, right? And I'm on the TV giving the messaging that needs to be gotten, which is it starts within. You need to start now. You can't wait until your release date to be successful, because you will get reincarcerated if you wait for your release date, because everybody inside a prison, they all are saying, man, I need to get to my release date. That's all I need to do. But what I always tell them is that when you get to your release date and you are unprepared, you will squander your release date, date. You cannot do nothing with your release date if you don't have the mind to be able to take advantage of that opportunity. It's an opportunity, but you must be prepared for the opportunity. So when you get to your release date and you are still that individual that says, man, you know what, man, get rich, die trying, man, kill anybody in my way. When you get to your release date and you still have that same philosophy that got you incarcerated, what usually happens, and I've seen it during my 10-year prison sentence in Marion Correctional Institution, is that they get reincarcerated again, or they go home and they get murdered. But what's even worse is that their children end up adopting that same philosophy of, man, I'm going to sell drugs and I'm going to resolve conflict by punching people in their faces or shooting them in their faces or whatever may be the case. I know that's graphic, but that's what we are up against. And it's based on the information that continues to circulate around in these environments that we got to change. We got to put different information inside of the environment, and I look at that information as medicine, right? But the different information that is medicine is what's going to bring about the cure instead of having it injected with more poison, right? The poison is that same philosophy, is that same information. Man, we got to sell crack, man. That's the only way that we are going to be able to get it done. We're going to be able to level up to our next level is by selling crack. I'm going to have to go ahead and rob somebody to be able to get it done. So now that's why it is so important to start to shift in that information so we can start to develop a new philosophy, ultimately start to develop a new culture, right? So we attacking the culture, right, by putting different information to develop the minds that need to be developed so we aren't in a place of prison, or we not in a place of in the pine box or something like that. So that's why it's so important. But the way that we said that we got to get it done now, so I said, man, okay, well, we're going to do the Walking Logo documentary, and we're going to spread that in all 28 prisons inside of Ohio. So we got that done, and I had people, you know, sending me letters and everything, and just inspired, because a lot of times people can't be what they can't see, and when they see somebody who is in their position and be able to elevate and evolve into something different, it gives them the inspiration that is needed. If they don't believe that they can become it, it's nothing that you can give them that's going to make them move. They're not going to be motivated. The reason why people lack motivation is because they lack direction. So if they don't see no clear direction, they're going to stay where they are at, and they're going to continue to do what they've been doing because they know it. Even though it's a known hell, they're going to embrace that known hell instead of going after that strange heaven. And that's a decision because they don't have the direction that is needed. Point A to point B to point C, right? So once they get that direction, now they can be more motivated to go ahead and getting it accomplished. And that's everything. So once they seen that documentary, it did something for people, because now they saying, man, we need programming, man. The documentary was good. And in the documentary, if y'all haven't seen it, it's on the website, startswithin.com. You can look on the video tab, and it's a 2-hour-long documentary. What you have in there, you have the people who are at the top level positions in Ohio. You have directors, you know, you have directors of child support that's on the documentary. You have the sheriff of Delaware County Jail, and he's telling you how he buys and purchases the books that I have written and given and gives those books to the people who are incarcerated in his jail, because he says that I'm going to attack the mentality while I have them. That means that that person who was inside of that jail, he's either going to get released back into his community after serving maybe a weekend or serving 2 weeks. He's going to get released back into his community. I want to take that opportunity to put books in front of him to give him different information, so when he goes back into his community, he has a shift. That means he has changed his direction, or she has changed her direction. Remember, it takes one word to change directions, right? And that one word can change the direction of an individual. Now our destinations will be different. So he is counting on, man, though, that book giving them the word that they need to change their directions. And he's on the video, explaining that. And people said that, man, you know what, Carlos, man, you know, people contacted me and they said, man, you know, this is why the documentary was so important, because people contacted me and said, Carlos, man, I can't believe that, man, this stuff is crazy, because we was in an empty jail cell talking about it. And he says, man, and they said, man, I can't believe that because of what the sheriff had said. Now, he was in a sheriff's suit and everything, and we was in an empty jail cell. And I said, man, turn the penitentiary on his head, stand the community on his feet, right? And he says, Carlos, man, do you know that I purchase your books with seized drug money that I get from drug busts? And I said, man, wow. You know, so he says this on video. And why it's so important? Because so many people in the community, they don't even understand that money that is made from, that is retrieved from that's confiscated from drug busts, it can be used for education of the population that is incarcerated in the facility. And he says this on the documentary. And what that can do is it can also influence other sheriffs to say, man, you know what, hey, the sheriffs that get voted in, right? They get voted in, so then that means that the people can say, you know what, hey, sheriff, you getting voted in, right? But one of the things that I require is that you make sure that you program the people coming into your jails. Since you can use the seized drug money to invest into programming, then use the seized drug money to invest into the programming. See, if people don't know, then they can't go. People don't know what is possible, so then they can't ask for it, right? So then that's why it was so important to get the sheriff on the documentary and explain that. And for him to say, just for him to have the heart for the people and to have the heart to change the community is a powerful thing. And it's a great partnership that I've been able to develop with Delaware County Jail. Just a great partnership. And when he said that, people called me and they said, man, I didn't realize that, man, they can use the money to invest in the programming. Because he said, man, we can also invest in the training.
This meeting is being recorded.
We can also invest into training, and we can also invest into equipment. So he says, man, I choose to invest into education, right? And your books qualify as education. So that documentary, it did a lot of things as far as opening up doors, because then you had the people who were inside of the prison, right? It was just a constant commercial that they continued to see this type of messaging. And they said, man, they was reaching out, sending letters. Man, we need programming, Carlos, man. How can I get into your programming, right? And I said, man, okay, we're going to figure it out. Because before the pandemic, we had just graduated our 5th year-long cohort of the Walking Logo, which we cover 5 different modules to attack the mentality. We put 20 individuals through 5 different modules: parenting for 8 weeks, cognitive behavior therapy for 8 weeks, financial literacy for 8 weeks, employment readiness for 12 weeks, and then small business and entrepreneurship for 12 weeks. We contract professors from different colleges and also experts in their fields to teach the actual curricula to make sure that learning takes place, right? We work with 20 individuals each year, right? So when the pandemic hit, we was like, man, dang, we can't go in. We didn't have access. And when they seen that documentary, it touched different institutions that I might not have been in before. And they said, man, we need some of that programming, because on the documentary, it's showing you how we implement the programming, how we get it done. And it also shows the people who have actually been through the programming, and it shows where they are at now. And they are also telling the messaging of what it took to get to where they at. So now it's just not me saying that this is how I went at overcoming incarceration. You also have other individuals who went through the Starts Within organization Walking Logo program saying the same thing. And you have people saying, man, you know what, man, I need that programming in here, man. We getting released. What are we going to do? We don't have the information. We still have conversations about the same thing on the yard. We still have conversations about the same thing in the cafeteria. And I said, man, you know what? We got to work on that. So then that pushed me, right, to birth a different idea. So I said, man, you know what? Man, I looked at my books and I seen that people were reading my books and things like that, and my books have made a tremendous impact in the minds of the people, right? I mean, juvenile facilities, it doesn't matter, man, what's the population. Juvenile facilities, they gravitate towards the books. Adults, man, 40, 50 years old, they gravitate towards the books, right? It's just the voice that's needed for the people to be able to shift in the way that they are thinking. And I said, man, you know what? The books have been impactful by themselves. I say, man, you know what? What can we do to raise the books to another level to help accomplish the mission, to implement programming? Now, my books wasn't written like, you know, the sun, the moon glisten off of the concrete in the wintry night. It wasn't written like that. It was written as in, you know, how to, meaning I have 3 books. Oh, y'all didn't know. That's not in my bio. So I wrote my 3rd book during the pandemic too. So that's what also was birthed in the pandemic, was my 3rd book, which was The Greatest Responsibility, Becoming the Parent Your Child Deserves, right? Where I talk about how to establish a strong, positive relationship with your children, breaking it down section by section. I've been teaching the parenting classes since 2013. I put it in the book of how to get that done, right? But then I have the first book that I've written in 2015, which is Prison Without Bars. It starts within, saying, how did I become free while I was incarcerated? So I'm letting people know what the problem is, but then I also let them know what is the challenges of overcoming the philosophy that gets you incarcerated. The first thing is we got to figure out that we have the wrong philosophy to go at life with. And what is the challenges into overcoming those that philosophy and how to get it done. So all of my books have been written into a how-to. So it's in like 57 pages. They're not no big encyclopedias, right? It's just some pages that you can read in 2 hours. The walking logo is what you build on top of the foundation. I call the Prison Without Bars the foundation. That's where you need to start at. That's real good for people who are at risk to get incarcerated. It's good for those people who are currently incarcerated, just trying to find themselves, because the greatest prison that we experience is the prison of the mind. That means that if I say that I cannot do, I will not look for a way to do. If I say that I can't move over here, I will not get up on my feet and make an effort to move over there. So the greatest prison that we face is the prison of the mind. And I always tell people that the prison that I experienced, man, the greatest prison that I experienced was from 13 to 19 years old, when I was on the streets. And I felt like that I had to live up to an image that people in my community said that I had to be. And I was afraid to be who I actually was, right? So, and when I became free was when I was incarcerated. It's crazy, right? But that's what happened. So then that's what I say is that, man, you know, Prison Without Bars is the foundation. And that's why it's so necessary for those individuals who are struggling and figuring on how do you get to your next level? How do you move forward? How do you progress? It's nothing like progression, man. That's what gives us the fulfillment in life, is the progression. And Prison Without Bars helps assist with that progression. And the main thing that's stopping us from progressing is our minds, right? So then that's what Prison Without Bars is about. It attacks, man, the mind, what's stopping you from becoming the best you, the best version of yourself that you was created to be. So Prison Without Bars is the foundation. And then you transition into the walking logo, Taking Back My Life, Volume 2. And it is exactly what it says, taking back my life. Saying that, man, my life is not going to be in other people's hands, man. I'm responsible for my life, man. You know, when my life is in other people's hands, it doesn't serve me well. I need to put my life in my own hands. That means that I'm responsible to be in the driver's seat of my life. And that's what Taking Back My Life is all about, the walking logo. And I just break down everything that I needed to do to transition back into society. How did I establish my credit? How did I purchase me a home? Matter of fact, man, also the failures that I've experienced, because I actually been in a divorce, right? So I came home, I got right into a relationship because I'm like, man, I'm trying to get the Cosbys, man. I want to have the Cosby Show It was my idea. I want to be able to have wife and children, and I'm going to do it big, man. Just like I grew up watching on the Cosbys, man. I was excited to get started. I didn't waste no time. I got released in August. By October, I was in a committed relationship. My soon-to-be wife seen me and said, man, you know what? Come on in, brother. I said, man, I was in the best shape of my life. When she seen me, I had a job, I had a car, and I had my own apartment, right? So she like, man, this brother's put together very nice. And plus, I knew Spanish too. I'm like, exio mucho, pero traigo mucho a la mesa. I was just so gifted. And she was like, man, you so gifted. I need to be a part of your life, man. Let me go ahead and wheel you in, right? And I'm like, man, you know, all right. She stayed in Columbus, and I say, man, you know what? My son is in Columbus. I'm about to move to Columbus as well. So I'll just move and I'll find employment there. I resigned from my job and I moved to Columbus. And, you know, it was a tumultuous relationship because some of the things that needed to be discussed was not discussed. And the main thing that needed to be discussed was how was we going to parent? And that's what challenged our relationship because she had a 9-year-old son and I had a 10-year-old son. And the mother of my son, she was like, man, you know what? Go ahead and raise our son to be a man, because he is starting to look at the streets, the same thing that got you incarcerated at 10. He's looking at that. And I said, man, no doubt. So I took advantage of that opportunity and I had my son like every day. Now that challenged our relationship because she was like, man, I didn't think you was going to bring him every day. I thought it was just going to be the weekend. And I'm like, nah. And she like, man, this is going to hurt the progression of my son, you know, with him being in the household too. And it just challenged the relationship. So we ended up getting a divorce and things like that. Now I have my son 5 days of the week and he goes to his mother on the weekends. So I got my 12-year-old son that was born out of that relationship. And we just continue to rock and roll, but we co-parent so beautifully that our son is benefiting from that. So, but I say that to say that a lot of times we don't have that information on how important it is to get into the right relationship when you get released. We don't have that conversation. And because we don't have that conversation, we start to assume that people are going to be this way. We assume that people are going to do the things that we want done. And then when we start to have the conversation, people say, I ain't trying to do all that. I ain't trying to do. And it's like we could have figured that out if we would have had the conversation. That was my error, that I didn't have that conversation. And because I didn't have that conversation, I ended up in an undesirable place. So now what I wrote in the book, again, is how to. How do we transition? How do we get to the place that we want to be? So I share with the people my errors and how did I make those errors, but how was I able to overcome those errors? What did I learn from those errors? And that was next level. So now when they sing that, they say, man, you know, people read that part and they say, man, wow, man, I'm going to take it slow. Matter of fact, man, I'm going to be asking some questions before I go ahead and make that commitment, man. Matter of fact, let me go ahead and get myself together before I get into a full-blown relationship, right? I done been incarcerated for 5 years, for 10 years. Let me get myself together before I get into a full-blown relationship. You see so many people who lose the value of freedom because of the relationship that they're in. They're doing so much arguing in a relationship that they don't even value freedom no more. So now they equate freedom with actual incarceration. So then that's why they go back into the streets doing the same things that they've done, because they don't value freedom until they get reincarcerated again. And then they like, man, I don't like it here. And I forgot that I didn't like it here, right? And then that's when they come back to that realization, but then it's too late. They have succumbed to recidivism, and that's an issue. So then that's what the Walking Logo covers. It also covers, man, how to establish your credit, how to get that done, right? How to establish your credit, how to open up a checking account, how to buy a home. I was able to buy a home. With my wife at the time. We bought a home, and in the divorce, I left her the home. So now I just closed on my home that I'm in now, right? Last year in the pandemic too, in 2020, I closed on my home that I'm in now. So now our son is a beneficiary of two parents with two homes. Beautiful thing, right? odds is in his favor. I'm just saying, though, it's beautiful, right? So, but learning how to go through that process and closing on a home myself, and it's just me. The first time, it was me and my soon-to-be wife, right, that we closed on a home. But this time, I was put to the task to do it solo dolo. It was nobody there, right? So I did it and was able to provide the paperwork and do what was necessary to be able to be approved for the mortgage and to go through that process and purchase a home. I share these experiences inside of the Walking Logo so people can ultimately duplicate these experiences. Remember, information influences thinking, and thinking controls behavior. We need to flood the minds with different information. So now people can start to say, man, you know what? It is possible for me to purchase a home. So now when people get released from prison, they say, man, you know what? I got 2 years. I got 2 years to do, and I'll be able to go ahead and solidify me a mortgage, right? I need 2 years work history because I'm able to give them the information on what needs to be done. I need to go ahead and establish my credit. This is how I establish my credit. This is how I avoid paying interest. All of these things I've been able to get accomplished since I've been home. To say that I've been home for 14 years, and this is what I'm so serious about, getting into the people, getting into the minds of the people. I am desperate to get this to the people. Like, it's desperation going on over here because I know that that's what's needed, right? It's the information. So everything in the Walking Logo is just detailing, man, what I've learned. Even in investments, I didn't enter into the investments. I got me a Scotch Trade account, and I was able to make investments with the money that I was claiming from when I was receiving from the tax. From the tax credits, because my children's mothers allowed me to claim my children on my tax returns. I didn't use that money to go buy everything that I wanted, right? And then end up begging for the things that I needed, right? I didn't do that. I used that money to make investments with, and that changed the game. So I learned about how to make investments in different stocks, and I'll share that also in the Walking Logo, and that's what it's about. And the third book, The Greatest Responsibility, we already talked about that, just establishing the relationship with your children and how to get that done, how to go down and get a shared parenting plan with your children, which is so necessary. So you don't have to argue about parenting your children, and everything is detailed in how the two of you will come together to parent that child so that child can be strong, healthy, and an asset to the community. And a lot of fathers don't even understand that they have a right to get a shared parenting plan. I share that inside of the book, and then also let them know how to get it done. Now, when I say that, and I'm just going to do a sidebar, and I'm just going to share this with y'all because it's exciting, and then we'll start to go into the actual program, how we get it done, right? But my son, I just took my son down to the courts and helped him file a shared parenting plan because his first son is by his girlfriend and his other two children is by his wife, right? But his first son, he's having difficulty in accessing his child. And I say, son, you got to get paperwork on your children. That's just what it is, you know. So just y'all do a mediation, come together, and get a shared parenting plan. I walked him through that process, and I remember he said, Dad, man, I didn't even know that it was possible. And he was like, man, I didn't understand the insider of everything, but I see it now. And he said, man, I'm just encouraged, and I feel good that I have, you know, a court date to be able to get, you know, a parenting plan to where I know that, man, this is the days that I'm going to pick up my child. This is the days, this is what I'm going to do. This is how much child support we are paying every month, and being able to really, man, build that relationship with his son. So that's important. Just that guidance is important. And that's what it's all about, is giving them the guidance that's necessary so we can get them in the destination that we all want them to be as a society. So when I'm thinking about the programming, and I'm trying to get all of this information in as much time as we got, because I know it's 1:15 is when it's over. 1:15? And I want to give you guys a chance.
1:15, depending on what time you would like to open it up for Q&A.
Okay. So now I want to cover as much as possible, right? So when I said, man, you know what? How can we utilize these books to make an impact? So then that's when I came up with the idea of the interactive audio book digital program. Interactive audio book digital program. So now what that is saying is that I've actually created workbooks that go along with the books, with all three of the books. Well, two of the books, I've created workbooks to go along with the books. Each chapter is broken down inside of the workbook, right? And then also with the second book, The Walking Logo, Taking Back My Life, Volume 2, I've created a journal, a 30-day journal that you can do that gives you writing prompts so then they can journal their journey in transitioning back into society, or if they are prepping themselves to transition back into society, to journal that. That's what the second, The Walking Logo, is all about. But the other two has workbooks that go along with the actual book. And then we also have a program evaluation form that I've created, and it's a file that you have that you can download to your computer, and it's also a certificate of completion that you can that has my signature on it, that you can just go ahead and put the names of the people who complete the actual program. You can put that, you can give that to them as well. And then we also have marketing flyers. All of those are digital, as digital files that you can download on your computer, and it comes on a CD in the package, in the kit. I call it the kit, right? It comes in the kit, and you'll be able to just basically implement the program in your facility. And also, what's the main sauce of it all, and I'm excited about it, it's not the books. It's the books is the content, but it's the video that go along with the book, right? So you actually have me reading the book on video. Now, it's not reading as in like regular audio books, but it's reading the key points inside of each chapter and then expounding on those points. So it's me reading, and then I'm stopping, putting a bookmark in that chapter, and now I'm discussing it with the actual individual on camera. So now we can really make sure that learning takes place. So now what we are looking at is that we have the individual, the participant. He gets the actual book, he gets his whole kit, right? He gets the book, he gets the workbook. And now once he gets the book and the workbook, his responsibility is to read the book, right? Read the chapter. Each session is for a chapter. So he reads the chapter, and once he reads the chapter, he go ahead and do the correlating chapter in the workbook. And then after he does the correlating chapter in the workbook, he now comes to the end of the week or whatever may be the case, and he gets together in a group setting. So now somebody is there in the facility to just help facilitate it. It can even be somebody who is currently incarcerated, who is who just been able to get it done. I forgot the term. It just slips my mind, the term for that individual who is incarcerated, who helps out with other individuals who are also incarcerated. It slips my mind. No help.
It varies depending on the institution. Like some may call it a trustee, some may call it a credible messenger. So it just depends. Like in DC, we call ours our trustees and our credible messengers inside.
Peer. There we go. Peer mentor. There we go. Peer specialist. There we go. Carrie West Belly, peer specialist, right? So ain't no doubt. I knew the Baileys was going to come through. Boom. I appreciate that, man. A virtual bear hug, right? So, yeah, so it's the peer specialist, right? So sometimes you can have the peer specialist to just facilitate the programming, and the only thing that they are doing is just making sure that they guide the conversation. So after you read the book and you do the correlating chapter in the workbook, now you look at me reading the same thing that you read, and then me discussing and expounding on what has been read on video. So you get all of my energy and everything on video, just drilling those concepts home. And then after that takes place, now they stop the video and now they open it up to group discussions. So now they'll sit up there and say, man, you know what? Well, what do you think about identified success? What do you think about, man, establishing your credit? What do you think about those concepts of making sure that you ain't paying no interest interest on your credit cards, right? How do you feel about that? And then people can start to have a dialogue about the concepts that's in the book to make sure that we change. Remember, repetition is the mother of skill. So we need repetition, and that's what it's about. It's all about repetition to get it done. And that's why I'm so excited about this program, this interactive program, because we can actually give the repetition that is needed, and we can spread this all around the nation, right? We can attack mentalities all around the nation because that's what it's about. If they gravitate towards my message with just the book, how much will they gravitate and get a clear understanding of the message with me explaining it and having that repetition that is so necessary? And that's why I believe that this thing can really take off and go to a whole nother level to where people are coming home and they are raising their children differently. And then it's going to be more people in the National Associations for Blacks and Criminal Justice. And it's not going to be more people that's going to be impacted by the injustices and things like that, right? It's going to be more people that's going to be in a position to make a real difference in society because we are raising our children to be strong adults, and the pool is going to be different. And that's why I'm excited about it. So that's the program in a nutshell. And I have it in different, and so it's a 3-part series. It's the Prison Without Bars, it's the Walking Logo, Taking Back My Life, and it's the Greatest Responsibility. And each of it is from 6 to 8 sessions. And you can just continue to funnel new people through. That's the beauty in it all. That means that for you to do a program again, you would just have to purchase the books and the workbooks because you already got the digital files for the certificate of completions. You have the digital marketing flyers, and you have the digital program evaluation forms. Only thing that you would have to do to put new people through the program is purchase the books and also also purchase the workbooks at a discounted rate that is attached to whatever level that you purchased at. And you'll continue to be able to continue to get that discounted rate throughout the duration of the relationship. So then that's the beauty of it all. So then that means that if you got the $9.99, which the books is $20, but if you got the $9.99 rate, you'll be able to get the books for $9.99 from here on out. So then that's the beauty in it all. So, we covering good time. We making good time. Okay. So now with that being said, I want to be able to share with y'all what it looks like. And remember, I said that I believe that the video is something that's important so you can see what we are doing and how it looks and how we was able to get it done. So I'm going to share now the video. I'm going to share now the video of what it looks like. Y'all still with me out there? See, it's different from in person because when it's in person, I can see y'all's pupils. I look in y'all's eyes, right? I'm seeing just names and pictures and stuff. Only faces I see is Trina and Carrie, man. So, but it's good.
We have a great group of people. We have 28 people in the room.
Good stuff.
And you're getting back in the chat as well.
Good stuff. That's what I'm talking about. And I'm over here sweating it out just like regular. If y'all see me make presentations before, I'm at the house in the AC, still sweating it out. I gets it done, right? Okay. All right, so let's go ahead. I'm going to share the video, though. Give me some time to share this screen. Pamela done got me technically sound, so I'm confident in what I'm doing now. All right, so this is out of the first chapter. This right here is out of the chapter number 4, matter of fact. And this is this is the Walking Logo. So this is establishing ground. And this is what I'm telling people that you need to do once you get released. You got to establish ground in order to be successful. You got to come out hard. So this video right here is discussing that. I'm pulling out of that chapter. I got everything squared away with my job, my housing, and my transportation. The next thing I had to do. Can everybody hear? As I was on PRC, I had to check in with my PO to sign what I needed and to let him know where I was working and any information that he needed. I was determined to do whatever I needed to so I could get off PRC before the standard 5 years. He set it up for me to come and see him every other month. As I had a child support order that was still active from when I was in prison, I didn't have to pay the supervision fee of $20 every month, which was a plus. The returning citizen getting a violation is all too common, and I wanted to ensure that I knew what my probation officer expected of me so I could meet those expectations. I was not going to make up my own rules. I would follow the ones they gave me. I was determined to keep my life as simple as possible. I would color inside the lines so the picture would look like I desired it to look. I wanted a picture that didn't present a depiction of institutions or supervision by an agency. You must be serious about everything once you get released from prison to be able to make the transition. I see people who don't take parole or probation seriously and get reincarcerated. I see people who don't take getting employment seriously enough and get reincarcerated. You must cross your T's and dot your I's to be successful after prison. The greatest mistake returning citizens make is believing that they can relax and not be so serious. They get into a partying mindset because everybody around them is encouraging the celebration. When you've been gone, everybody wants to buy you drinks and women want to hang with you. It can be misleading to returning citizens. The reward is not getting released, but rather staying released, right? So with that PO, and I want to touch on that, man, you want to make sure that you check in with your PO and get everything squared away with your PO. Understand what needs to be done, just get it done. The quicker that you get the stuff done, the quicker that you'll get off of papers, right? I had 5 years of post-release control to do because I had the 10-year sentence and because of my case. But guess what? I was released off of papers, man, under 2 years. So 2 years, my PO came to me and said, Carlos, man, hey, man, you done been doing everything that you needed to do, man. You ain't no problem. We got other people that we can be, man, worrying about besides you. And they released me off of papers, guaranteed. So, I mean, now I'm not guaranteeing that it would be for you, but I mean, at least it gives you the best possible chance. If you're doing everything that you need to do, then only good can come from that. You know, I mean, worst case scenario is that you do serve your whole entire 5 years on papers and you get off of it to where you don't have to do another 5 years and you don't have to do more prison time, but just do what needs to be done. When they say check in, check in. When they say drop that urine, drop that urine. Don't try to be doing everything that you want to do because then you're going to be in a place that you don't need to be, right? It's going to be your time that you're going to be able to do the things that you want to do. But you got to make sure that you establish your foundation. You got to color with inside of the line so then the picture can look like you want it to look. But if you try to cut corners and you try to take those shortcuts, that's the longest route to success, is the shortcut. So just do it right the first time and you'll get them out your mix. And that's what it's all about. Okay, so did everything play well and good?
Yes, sir, it did.
Okay, I'm going off of Carrie. I see Carrie, she in there, she no doubt, absolutely. So yeah, so then that's just that was just the beginning of it. So it's just me having the conversation. So I'll be having the conversation even about some things that might not have even been in the book, but it still addresses that topic because the things that's not in the book might have happened after I've written the book, but it still goes with that topic. So I'll have conversations throughout the book. And that's why I'm so excited because it's just, I mean, the people, they respond to the book. And I'm like, man, now with them being able to see me in my home and me driving up to my home, it's different things like that. So even it's like interludes. I even do interlude where you might see me downstairs because I'll be downstairs in my theater. Now, this is what I've done too. I've created a theater downstairs, right? Because we do movie night every Thursday with me and my kids. So I'm downstairs in the theater and I didn't really did everything with it. I got the projector screen. The screen comes down slow, right? And I'm downstairs in the theater and I just got, I'm gonna tell y'all, I got the doggone popcorn machine and the snow cone machine for $150 from my neighbor. He says, man, I'm gonna do away with this thing. I'm like, man, $150, man. So now I got everything down there for the concession stand, right? So I'm down there in the movie theater, because look at what this will do. Just think of somebody who is trying to get to a place and they see that and they say, man, you know what? Carlos, man, was incarcerated for 10 years for attempted murder, possession of drugs, drug trafficking, possession of firearms. That brother was the real deal, man. And now he's able to experience a life like that. Man, what he's saying, I need to go ahead and soak it up, right? And that's what it's all about. So that's why I share with people, me walking through my house or me on the back of my deck and stuff like that, reading the book on my deck, because it just piques the people's interest. The same way that I was attracted to the people who had the big rims on their cars and just had the money going all over everywhere when I was 13 years old, the same way that people are attracted to success. So then they see that, right? And then that's what helps them to say, man, you know what? That can be me. And he's giving us the information to make it me, right? So I tell people, man, you don't threaten my success by you becoming successful. You help me accomplish my mission when you become successful, good brother. I say this on the videos in one of the sessions where I'm going off on my tangent and letting people know, like, brother, man, you getting this information and you duplicating the story is not going to threaten my success. It just helps me accomplish my mission. Because once you become successful and then your children become successful, guess what? It's going to be heaven on earth. And I'm so excited about that, because it ain't about somewhere that we go, it's somewhere that we create. Let it be done on earth as it is in heaven. Man, hold up. We ain't in church, but I'm just saying that's the mindset. So that's why I'm so excited to get people that information. And that's what we can get done with just this new interactive audiobook digital program. And it's on the website for people to be able to just order it. It's easy to get done, and I can send it to the facility wherever you are at. It works inside of the schools, so then they are implementing it inside of schools with young people, you know, with like seniors and juniors. So it's just a beautiful thing. So with that being said, I just want to just reiterate with the little bit of time that we got left is just that, I mean, the way that this thing is going to get done is if we get it done. The work is on us. Like I said the last time, I'm always excited to get in the room with the National Associations for Blacks and Criminal Justice, because, man, hey, this is the brains of the operation here. Like, y'all got letters behind y'all's names for a reason. And I always say, man, we connect the letters behind y'all's name with that number that I have behind my name, and we can change the way that the hood is forever, man, to where we ain't no longer looking at the crumbs and stuff like that. We can all sit at the table and change the game, change the narrative. We ain't begging no more. We here. And that's what I'm excited for. So I appreciate y'all. That's my presentation. I hope that it was clear. I hope that it has sparked some interest. And just, man, just the possibilities, man. Sky is not the limit. It is only the view. So I'm excited. With that being said, I'm open for questions.
All right, I have the first question. Someone inboxed me. Can you ask what facilities, what facilities has this been implemented in, and what has been the success thus far?
Right. So, yeah, and this is brand new. So this has been implemented in London Correctional Institution. It's currently being implemented in London Correctional Institution under Warden Norman Robinson. He's been working with me for a while now. It's also in a juvenile facility. It slips my mind. So it's fairly new. You know, it's fairly new. So it's fairly new. So and then it's also inside of Early College Academy in Dayton, Ohio. And that's a school that gets the kids who drop out, but then they recover their credits. So you have like 21-year-olds that are at risk. So then they are utilizing this interactive audiobook digital program to make sure that they don't go inside of the prison and they go into another level of living. So it's just 3. So I don't have a whole bunch of institutions that it's in right now. But like I said, we start now. So yeah.
Wow, I just put in the chat box if somebody had any questions for them to drop their questions in the chat or raise their hand. But while we're waiting, what is one thing that you would tell practitioners as they are working with clients that are coming from home or just about coming from home that are still currently incarcerated, what is one bit of advice that you would give them to inspire those that are about to be released or are currently under community supervision now?
It starts within. Like the way that their life is going to be contingent about the work that they are willing to put in. They can't say that everybody else has to put in the work. It's not going to change until everybody else changes. They have to say it has to change within. So the message that I would give to them is that, man, you have everything that you need. Everything that you need, you have. Don't go out here thinking that, man, I don't have housing, I don't have clothes, I don't have no support system. Understand that everything you need, you got. Everything that you got, you need. So don't squander what it is that you got. And a lot of times people squander the most valuable asset that they have, the most valuable resource that they have, which is their mind. They squander it and they don't invest into their mind. So I would tell them, I would encourage them to invest into their mind. The reason why I've been able to overcome it is because I invested into my mind. When I was incarcerated doing my time, I invested into my mind and my mind became strong so I can overcome the challenges that faced me when I got released. Also the challenges that faced me when I was inside too as well. But that's why this interactive audiobook digital program is so powerful, and it can be a powerful tool because when you are working with that individual, you can actually just help facilitate the actual program. So then that's going to tell them everything that they need to know to get it done. And now you just have the conversation with them to help them just to do that repetition. So then that's why it can be so powerful to where you ain't fishing to try to figure out how to help people out. And I kid you not, this is why it's so important, because somebody just got out and they said, man, you know what? They said, Los, man, I got my people out and I'm just telling him just to relax and just take it easy. And I say, man, it's not time for taking it easy, because when you take it easy and you don't go out there and get employment, you're going to start to develop a way of doing things, and you ain't about to be looking for employment after a while, and you're going to fall into the things that's going to, man, get you back reincarcerated. So that information is powerful. So you can actually use this individually as well. That means that you can have a loved one that's coming home and you can say, we are about to go through this program. I need you to be sitting at that computer. That means you staying in my house. I need you to go ahead and sit at that computer and spend 45 minutes, man, looking at that video. I need you to read that book, because that's the information that you're going to need to have to be able to transition and be successful. So then you can use this as a tool.
Awesome. The next question is, what effect did treatment staff have on your road to rehabilitation? Yeah,
so it was good. Well, I say it was good as in just showing me, what was available. Showing me what was available. I think the treatment staff that I'm thinking about inside of the institution, it was like the case manager. Would that qualify as a treatment staff? Right?
It could.
Okay.
It could.
Okay.
Or if you had like any behavioral health, if you had any therapy that you may have gone through while incarcerated, or when you came home, if you were in any type of programming as a part of your special conditions of release where it required you to be in some type of treatment.
Okay. Yeah. So I didn't actually go through any treatment. So my main treatment was like the scripture. So I got into scripture. That's when I started to read the scripture, the Bible, and I just started to just digest that. And then I got into college, and then I got into administrative office technology for vocational training. So I just got into all of the education, and that was my main treatment. That's what made me shift from saying that I'm about to go ahead and sell crack. So that's what helped me to be able to shift, is that new information and figuring out a different way to get it done, and understanding that where I was at was not where I wanted to be. But not only that, but this is not where I want my son to be as an adult. And that's what helped me to be able to get it done. So I didn't really have like anger management classes that I took up, because I used to look at it, and I'm gonna be honest with y'all, like in the facilities, man, the stuff that's taught, like the anger management classes and stuff like that, it is kind of watered down. It is, and that's the messaging that permeates throughout the institution. It's kind of watered down. Sometimes people don't even have to come to class. They'll just go ahead and sign the sign-in sheet for you, and they'll say you graduated. You know, so it's really no learning taking place. So because of that, I chose not to get into that stuff because I felt like that it wasn't going to benefit me. I didn't feel like that getting a whole bunch of certificates was what was going to benefit me, because I didn't believe that people really looked at the certificates. They looked at to see if you knew what the certificate said. And if I'm not going to learn, then I didn't get into it. So when I got into college, I really did learn the information that was inside of the college with business management. I really did learn ASDF, semicolon, right? I learned my home keys. I really did learn the stuff, right? Because now it put me in a position to be able to utilize it. So I didn't have like treatment plans. Sorry.
Okay. No, it's okay. I mean, because this is your story, and that's what we want to hear about. The next question was, what made the greatest impact on you that changed your criminal thinking?
Yeah, the greatest impact that changed my criminal thinking was saying that, man, my son has the possibility to enter into where I'm currently at. And then the next thing that helped solidify it was the 13th Amendment. Neither slavery nor involuntary servitude, except for as punishment for a crime, where the party shall have been duly convicted, shall exist in the United States or any other place subject to their jurisdiction. That means that what impacted me was saying, man, hold up, I chose to be a slave? You mean to tell me ain't nobody forcing me to be a slave? You mean to tell me the philosophy that my people that helped me develop put me in a position to be a slave? Hold up. I felt like food on the table. I said, man, hold up, man, no more slave here. I'm about to do everything that I need to do to come against the philosophy that I have embraced and developed to put me in a position to be a legal slave. Because I said, man, hold up, it says except, that means that the only way you can be a slave is through incarceration. And that changed my whole way of thinking, because I felt like a fool being up in there saying that, man, I'm about my block. I'm about, man, getting this money. It's like, man, I'm trading my freedom for slavery. Like, it's crazy. And that's what impacted me the most. And I kid you not. And that's why I put that inside of the book, inside of my Prison Without Bars book. I touch on that because, and I say it out. It's on my shirts. It's on everything. If y'all was in the other presentations before, y'all probably got shirts. I put it on everything. Because that was the greatest thing that shifted me. It shifted me because when I was selling drugs, I wasn't selling drugs to be locked up somewhere. I wasn't selling drugs to be killed. I was selling drugs because I felt like it was an opportunity to be able to offer some sort of power to my community. I felt like that. That was the mind that I had. So when I got inside a prison and I said, man, by me selling drugs and me adopting this philosophy, I'm actually giving away my power, the power that I actually want. I'm in a place where I'm limited of power now. That's what changed me. And I said, man, I just will not lose. Like, I'm never down, man. I'm never down. Either I'm getting up or I'm already up. So that changed me though. And I'm sticking to that. That changed me. That 13th Amendment.
I know that's right. That right there appears to be our last question. I do not believe there are any more. I'm looking on the participant list. I don't see any hands raised at this time as well. So we just want to thank you so very much, Mr. Christian. Like, you've definitely dropped many, many nuggets on us. And I hope that we are able to go back and take this information back to our respective agencies, be it county, state, or federal level, and be able to figure out ways that we can incorporate the information that you provided today, and also maybe be able to procure some of the information that you talked about as well. Is it possible that you can drop your information in the chat box? That's the one thing that I forgot to get from you. If you can drop your information in the chat box so people can continue their conversation with you to be tailored towards the need of their agency. And again, we thank everybody for joining us here today. It was truly a blessing to have you here. I hope you all are enjoying the NABCJ conference thus far. Please, please, please reach out to your local chapters. We would love to have you a part of the NABCJ family. As you can see, it is truly a family. We are virtual this year, but we're hoping that we'll be back next year and be able to touch and love and hug one another.
Absolutely.
So, again, thank you. I am going to drop Mr. Christian's information in the Dropbox right now.
Oh, hold up. I'm sorry. I did the I sent it straight to you, Trina. My bad. Let me.
It's quite all right. I'm gonna get it out to the people so everybody can see it. Give me 1 second. I sent the email out, but I think you sent me the website too.
Yep. And the website, again, it's everything on there. You can order straight from the website. And also, like I said, there's different packages that you'll be able to see. It's an individual package if you just want to get a feel for it, or if you have a loved one that's getting released from prison, or, you know, it's something that you can implement individually. So you can implement it individually, or you can implement it in a group setting. So we getting it done. I appreciate y'all.
No problem. And everybody, don't forget, lunch will start, so we're ending about 5 minutes early. Lunch will start at 1:30. We will resume our next workshops at 2:45 promptly. So again, if you would like, you can stand by, or you can log off and just log back in. Try to log back in about 10 minutes or so that way you'll be able to be navigated to the correct workshop that you would like to attend. And again, thank you all for coming out today. Bye.
See you later. Appreciate y'all.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Christian.
Thank you, Trina. You was a phenomenal a moderator too. You know, you did your thing, man. You know, you did your thing. That's it, man. National Associations for Blacks in Criminal Justice.
This meeting is being recorded.
Oh, hold on, let me see. Hold on, let me see. Okay, yeah, so that was phenomenal. Just National Associations for Blacks in Criminal Justice, just getting it done, man. Like, I just figure out a way, just continue to let people know what it is that we do, man. Turn the penitentiary on its head, stand the community on its feet, so we can continue to just come together like Voltron and get this problem, man, addressed, man. Like, the solution is in us, and we gotta really get it done, man. You know, or else we ain't gonna be able to see what we want to see. I'm gonna give y'all a little shot of the screen. This is what it's looking like this year. We had a nice little crowd too, so it's always good, man. All right, I'm out of here. Hey, and I know y'all sitting up here wondering about these shirts. Look, y'all better get you one. I got them in all different colors, man. Startswithin.com. Holla at me. Or just, man, connect with me if you're in the Columbus area. Connect with me. We can go ahead and meet up. I can get it to you ASAP. All right. Peace.